Hey everybody, welcome to another video on video games and stuff. As you probably can tell by the title of this video, I'm bringing something back that I probably dropped and probably for good reason several months or maybe even a year ago at this point. It's the Hunter's Hub where I talk about random video games and stuff. As I said before, I'm here to also to present to you a YouTuber who's probably also jumped at the face of the earth probably much longer than this than this segment. Introduce
Yeah.
yourself.
I'm the Z-Man. I'm Zach, over at Z-Man4494 on YouTube. Oh yeah, I was gone for a good 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, started at the face of the earth.
Just gone. Just stopped working.
Came back. You came back in enough of a time too for what's on the topic today,
Oh yeah.
which is the start of not the start of because we knew about this since January, but the continuation of more information dropping for what is now confirmed to be seventh generation. I have been really hesitant to say seventh generation's here. Still hesitant. Well, not really hesitant because it's here, but more so, I guess I could say disappointed in it a little bit because X and Y, Omega Ruby, like seriously, we just got those games and we don't even know anything about Zygarde, and that's still up in the air.
God, you said sixth generation, and I was like, oh yeah, Pokemon Black and White. I was like, oh crap, I totally forgot about X and Y. I really liked Black and White. That's why.
Ha! Okay, well, we're here for seventh generation's here, and we got a lot of information just dumped on us. Like Masa just said, you know what? Screw your life. Here's some more Pokemon for you. Actually, screw your wallets too, because we're taking all your money November 18th. I'm surprised that this much information got dropped as soon because we've been getting trolled. Well, like January.
Oh yeah,
in April. Like that last year's Core Curl was a big disappointment. They showed us box art.
They said for like basically two or 3 weeks, like, hey, new information's coming in Coro, and then no information comes at all, and then hey, next week we said next week.
And actually, in correction, we got trolled again this month too because Core Curl still didn't reveal anything.
Yes.
So we were getting constantly trolled. Like pretty much the wolves being pulled over our eyes every month. It's like, and then Masa just decides to drop this trailer on us, which is like got the entire internet abuzz. Actually, fun fact: the day that this got released, because I was preparing myself the night before, and just like I go to sleep, I go check out everything before I get spoiled or anything. Ironically, that day I got a headache, so I wasn't able to really digest much of the information. I saw everything, and I didn't really give a full-on yes, because I was just sick that day, and I finally got a chance to digest it all. And I guess we'll start off with the region itself. This is taking place in Alola, and I will give this over to Z-Man and give it his thoughts since he probably has more insight on this.
Take a guess on what real life place Alola is based on. Obviously, we're going to Hawaii, basically.
I mean, all I'm hearing is Honolulu, so I'm guessing this is what this main region we're looking at right now is.
See, what I'm thinking is, I'm assuming they're gonna do just all of Hawaii, because you can do the kind of the Pokemon Hoenn region thing, where you have different islands that you can go to, and only open it up even more. This can be like an Orange Islands type thing, almost, actually.
Yeah,
now that I think about it.
Yeah, when I first saw this, I was like, "Is that it?"
Yeah.
I literally sat there as like, that's a small region. But I looking at other people, PokeTubers if you will, and they start doing discussions about this and the idea that like multiple islands might be something that might be coming, and I'm like, oh, well that explains everything, because now looking at I looked at this map like a lot, and I was just staring at it, hoping something would just come to me. And I will say this much: if you've seen the map, I'm not sure if you're looking at it, because you can look at it where you are. It doesn't look like there's a gym anywhere on this island, and we got a huge city to the left, like to the west, like a huge city. Like, well, not huge, but it's probably the biggest city that's pretty much ever been anywhere near the hometown. Which, by the way, some people are speculating that I guess we were visiting this island. I don't think that's the case because there was like a video on Sarabe and it shows the player leaving the house. So
Yeah,
I think we're living here.
I would assume so. I can slightly see from a racial standpoint why people would think, hey, you're only visiting this place.
That'd be a nice change of pace, though. I mean, this time you're not living here, so it's
Yeah.
like, but that'd be kind of weird too because like, well, actually, then you could probably bring in the whole ends thing because we've been dancing around that for 6 generations at this point. The closest we got, I think, was X and Y. I think you could stay in N or something to that effect in X and Y. I'm not 100%
Yeah.
sure. So we've been dancing around the idea that there could be an N. So there's always that. Yeah, but I guess the idea of having multiple islands is actually kind of cool, especially since Hawaii is considered a state and all those islands is all in that state. So
It's like,
it makes a lot of sense that be multiple islands.
that's what I'm expecting, because, yeah, like you said, I haven't seen this map yet. I probably didn't look hard enough, but, yeah, it's essentially, what, one town, and then you go up, and there's a Pokemon Center up there. Kind of see something that could be a gym off to the right, but it's like a couple of towns, but that's not enough to make an entire region, so there's got to be multiple islands.
Yeah.
Maybe 7.
Also, I want to bring this up too. Usually, in every interact with any like announcement of any Pokemon game that Game Freak's they always have a pattern of announcing they actually verbally announce the region. They did not do that this time.
No.
So I think that tells me that this isn't the region yet. We got a hint of it because we saw it in there. I mean, you can see Alola. So I'm guessing that tells me that they're not revealing the entire region just yet.
No.
So I don't know how big or how small this place is going to be. I can only imagine that there's going to be a huge island at some point that's going to hold like the biggest city in Alola, whatever that looks like. So I'm actually kind of interested now because because we got these cities, the biggest cities in all the games. Like you got in first generation, Saffron City I think was the biggest city.
Yeah.
Johto, there was Goldenrod City. Then you have now this is something I was never 100% aware of, and Ruby Sapphire is my favorite game. I think the biggest city is Lily Cove. Makes a lot of sense because the department centers there. Usually that's what marks out the biggest cities, the department
Biggest
store.
city, yeah.
Diamond and Pearl, which I recently watching somebody play the game, and as soon as I was coming back for that one, Veilstone I think is the biggest city, which is kind of intriguing because you kind of get there kind of quickly. I think Veilstone's the biggest city. I'm not 100% sure. Then you get Black and White, Castelia.
The obvious one.
You get to Kalos, and then there you got Luminose, which is also the third city you go to in the game, and you constantly are revolving around that thing. So that's also that's intriguing that like you got these big cities that we don't even see it or get a hint of what the big city is. We do see a city in the gameplay trailer, which is also very very interesting in itself too. I don't know what's going to be in it, and speaking of things that you kind of notice off the bat. I'm kind of dancing around it. The graphic, not overhaul, more like updating to the point where now we have full-scale human beings.
Yes.
And the buildings are scaled too. So, I've honestly been wanting something to happen where when I first saw X and Y, I was hoping that the routes are gonna be kind of like the anime in terms of like you're on a route for a very long time. Because let's be honest, playing the older games, you don't really stay on the route for too long because you can just run right through it.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't really stay on the route too long, so it doesn't really feel like a journey. Maybe the argument can be made going to the big city, maybe, but you don't really travel on routes for too long. You stay in cities most of the time anyway. What makes a lot of sense because it's supposed to it's a city. But
yeah.
So like what's your thoughts on the whole like scale to life like? I guess non-chibi look that they're going right now.
I mean, looking at it, I had my roommate pulled up a bunch of like side-by-side shots of like X and Y in this game from a graphics perspective, and this game is smoothed out just so much, which is awesome.
If you're looking
Um,
for like a map of the region, well, not really a map, more like just the image of one of the islands. You can go to if you're on if you're on Sun and Moon, you can just hit the load the region tab, and it'll take you a couple images.
there we go.
Yeah, well, he's going through that. Uh, Silence, professional. uh, I I don't really got much to say other than yeah, it looks good. It's really beautiful. The attention to detail. I know a lot of people are bringing up the fact that it's a very beautiful region. I'm very astonished like how like really. I'll make a Ruby Knife for Sapphire. I was like, that game was like, it made Hoenn beautiful. So the fact that this is here, I'm not too surprised because I got the beauty and I've able um to look and inhale all the beauty. So I can't actually wait to see how this looks in hand because there's a difference between looking at it in a video than versus on your 3DS. I actually can't wait for some of the differences between the old 3DS and then the new Nintendo 3DS. Dang it, Nintendo. Why? Naming convention. Seriously. Uh, I can't wait to see if there's going to be any differences. I kind of expect there to be, mainly just because they made this hardware, like, and I remember this specifically when the hardware got announced. I just got my my Nintendo 3DS XL for Christmas, and then this was announced. I literally said, "Damn it, Nintendo!"
The new 3DS is technically supposed to do is make games like load faster and stuff, but then you get stuff like Hyrule Warriors Legends where you can't even play the game on an old 3DS. Technically,
You can, you just
you
won't
can
have a
technically
good time
play
with
it.
it.
It's just garbage. It's absolute garbage. Which is funny because I played a demo of Hyrule Warriors Legends on a new 3DS, and that actually played like semi-garbage too. But yeah, I guess I didn't notice the art style. That's kind of
Yeah, the thing is,
perspective-wise, it's a lot nicer to look at.
I think the thing is, coming from X and Y, this is kind of to be expected, which I think that's why it's really not all that impressive because, well, we obviously moved over from X and Y. We moved over from black and white to X and Y.
We moved to a 3D model instead
Clearly,
of
yeah,
2D
clearly
sprite.
this is to be expected. Sorry about that. This is clearly to be expected, so not too. It's good. It's nice. Definitely very popping. Clearly, we're getting closer and closer to having animated cutscenes in this game because we got them in well, not animated, but like in-game cutscenes with the models, like because we got a lot of them, especially during that one scene when you leave Moss Deep's gym. That caught me off guard because I wasn't expecting that, and yeah, so clearly they're definitely moving more, I guess, to traditional RPGs where there's events that happen because in Pokemon, usually the events would happen in game and they weren't really all that impressive. Granted, what we were expecting, your kid, your 10-year-old kid fighting bad guys with mythical creatures that you find in the grass, and also the hardware that they were on was never really all that impressive.
Right.
As we get closer and closer to more impressive, to the point where we can put a console in our hand, which is pretty much what the 3DS is at this point, is a GameCube. Well, I guess less powerful, but it's still kind of got the same concept. We can freaking play Legend of Zelda games, full on console games on a 3DS. So it's impressive. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they have, like what is in store in terms of like what the rest of the region looks like. Also, another thing on that map, since you're looking at a very small one, in the trailers, you constantly are seeing this one area with this fat man.
Yeah.
You can clearly see the area, the travel area on the map where you get your Pokemon, which we'll get to that in a minute. I know that's for you who are waiting for.
That's probably the most important thing out
We'll
of
get to that
everything
in a
they've
minute.
shown.
But we got to get to, I guess, the story and the characters, and I think I'm missing something else. Well, the story isn't really much. We don't really know much here. I'm
Not
guessing, from what I gathered, at least from the Japanese trailer, because you see a kid moving with his mother to Hawaii. So
Right.
it's like, okay, that to me is telling me this is what's going on. We're moving to Hawaii. Original. We've kind of been doing that We've been moving around a lot recently. We've only been native for first generation, fifth generation.
First generation, you weren't. Didn't you just move in the first generation? I thought.
Did you just move in the first? I thought you'd
did.
been there a while.
No, yeah, no. First generation, you were there.
That's what I feel like. We were native first generation. Were we native in Johto?
Nope.
Okay, so the first generation, fifth generation.
Sixth
Oh, that's
generation.
right. In Ruby and Sapphire, we weren't native. Because technically speaking, you say we're native for Johto because kind of that's what we're hinted at apparently.
Yeah.
So yep, I think we were only native for like, cause I think we just moved in X and Y, didn't we?
X and Y.
Didn't they say we
Really
kind of moved
remember.
in, or maybe a month ago we weren't really native, but kind of we kind of just moved in there.
Just moved in. That might be the case.
Like, all I know is like we've been moving around we've been moving with our mother a lot, and we only had one game where we had a father, which is also really disappointing too. Really disappointing. That's why I love Ruby Sapphire so freaking much.
So you have an actual father?
Yes. You actually have a father. I mean, not saying you don't have one in this game, but you never hear or know or see any mention of him at all. So it's like, well, Diamond Pro, you kind of get a mention. Well, actually, Platinum, you get mention of a father. I found that out actually recently. You actually do hear about your father in Platinum, which is interesting. But like, yeah, we're moving into like Alola apparently. Either that or a visiting. I'm not too sure what's going on here because we don't really get much. Because we also see like one of the first things you kind of see, at least for human interaction, is this buff man who people keep on saying that this guy is swole. Like he calls you cousin. Granted, a lot of people are taking that as he's your cousin. I'm taking that as I think because that's kind of something common in Hawaii. I think they actually it's kind of a dialect. They kind of call you cousin. So I'm guessing what that's about.
That's how I kind of took it.
I think it was just in Hawaiian dialect. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, that'd be freaking cool because that's the first time we ever have a cousin in the game. So, like, yeah, anything you want to add to that whole, like, I guess story thing? At least the little bit that we do know of from the trailers and whatnot?
I mean, the it does feel like I think what it is that you probably moved there. I guess it would be kind of cool if you actually moved to be closer to your family in some way. But you basically, I want to say you just moved there. Could be completely wrong. I'm trying to look for that actual screenshot. Because doesn't he also call this place like paradise or something?
Yeah,
so...
that's the thing about this particular, like, usually we know for a fact if we're living there. This is kind of the first time in history that we're kind of confused on the edge of are we living here or are we visiting? Because
yeah,
it'd be interesting to see maybe if we were visiting, we came there on our own. For some reason, like.
What if it's a thing where you're like your mom's not there, your mom sent you off to live with your cousin for like a summer or something? That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, they kind of did that with Yokai Watch when you were like a little kid, on summer vacation. So
yeah,
they kind of gave an actual in-game reason for a little kid running about, on his own. That's another thing we don't really know. They've been really ambiguous since Black and White age, because clearly they were older in Black and White. But ever since then, we haven't had any clear, definition in terms of like if they're a teenager or not.
I've been assuming 10 to 14, or sorry, 12 to 14.
Yeah, we got all that going on in terms of cousin, and then we got this old fat guy who throws Pokeballs to the ground. And we got our starter Pokemon, which I guess we've been dancing around this long enough.
Yeah.
Let's just get around to it. Our new 3 starter Pokemon for this region. Rowlet. Going off the top of my head right now. Rowlet, Litten. But I think almost Litlin. Litten and Popolio. Well, I said polio there for
Poplio.
Poplio. Yeah, these new Pokemon. When I first saw Twitter, Rowlet was blowing things up, and I
was
also
about to
saw
say,
your image.
I immediately saw Rowlet, and I was like, oh dear God, that is my new starter.
I was like, oh, this thing's adorable. Like almost every generation's had that one Pokemon of the group that was, the cutest thing that everybody's ever freaking seen. Fifth generation, that was Oshawott. Uh, I don't think there was one for X and Y. I think the closest you could get was Fennekin.
I think it was Fennekin was probably the closest one, yeah, because nobody liked grass type starter.
That grass type, like Rowlet, just looking at it now, looks like it's staring into my soul. I'm gonna go for the fire starter because I'm generic like that, and I've always started with fire in every generation. So I was like, yeah. I might be getting both generations. I mean, both games of generation, I think. So I probably will be. Second one will probably be Rowlet.
Yeah.
Like
Rowlet's my first one. He's also the only one that gets a dual typing right away.
Yeah, and that kind of goes into like a little bit like a speculation towards it. Usually now this is usually we always know there's probably a second type given to a Pokemon during evolution. But since this is the second Pokemon to have a dual typing off the bat, does that mean Rowlet's gonna stay grass flying throughout its entire lifetime?
Yeah. I mean, he's an owl. He kind of has to be a flying type, and since he's a starter, he can't move away from being a grass type.
It's a little sad. 'Cause it's got a boatload of weaknesses.
Yeah.
I guess that's what the other Pokemon are for. But on Rowlet, especially these details, I'm gonna lead off. I'm gonna read these details for Rowlet, and we're gonna do this for each one of these Pokemon here. Give our thoughts on this and anything else. Let's see here. Rowlet can attack without making a sound. It flies silently through the skies, drawing near to its opponent without being noticed, and then lashes out with powerful kicks. It can also attack from a distance using razor-sharp leaves that form part of its feathers. Now we've seen this in the trailer. It's got green leaves on its wings. This is it's a very interesting detail, meaning that clearly it sounds like a ninja to me. I really don't know. This is kind of like they're kind of very specific in terms of like how fast and how quiet it moves. So they are very, very specific. And being very specific, the second portion of its details also say it has very, very good vision.
Yeah.
Especially in the darkness. So this is kind of scary because that just means that it's probably gonna have unrivaled accuracy at this point, for at least for being a starter Pokemon. Its accuracy is gonna probably be really good.
I would assume so.
It's gonna probably the best accuracy out of the entire group.
I'm not gonna lie. This last sentence that I'm reading right here: when in battle, Rowlet turns its head to face its trainer, waiting for instructions.
Yeah,
how freaking adorable would that be if you actually had a Pokemon? It's like, all right, what now, Master?
We see this. We actually see this in the trailer.
I know they animated it.
It just turns its head around, kind of. I was like, oh my god, it actually does it. So I mean, it'd be kind of funny if, since it says it here, that when you have to choose your attack, it turns its head and it stays like that. It's like, what do we do now? Like, oh god. It's like, oh god, I don't think it's going to do that because that'd probably be a lot of wasted frames.
Yeah.
But it'd be kind of cool if it stayed like that for maybe like 5 seconds, and then it like lost its attention and it turns its head back again. But speaking of that, before we move on, also another thing is we also kind of noticed that at least in that same trailer, we see the female trainer. A lot of people brought this up that this is kind of interesting, the fact that we can see our trainer in the battle as well. At least when we're not doing anything specific, because at 6th generation, you only really saw your trainer during Mega Evolutions.
Right.
So you only saw them once because the scene only played once per battle, which is actually a good choice because I was actually kind of curious about that. How are you going to deal with that? Because it's going to get annoying after a while. Seeing the animation over and over again. Yeah, that was a pretty nice touch. They're actually kind of paying a lot of attention to detail. Granted, you kind of have to do that now because we're in a 3D environment.
Yeah.
So it's kind of almost expected. But yeah, the stereotypical like grass stuff. It has overgrown. It's called the grass quill Pokemon. I think Chespin shares that classification, doesn't it?
Which one?
Chespin?
Yeah.
Doesn't it share that same?
Chespin?
Let me check that out. I want to see, like, does it share the grass quill classification? 'Cause it sounds like, I think it would, actually, wouldn't it? I'm gonna check this out just to be sure, because I might be wrong. And people are telling me right now, am I wrong? I'm sorry. Where is it? Spiky nut. Never mind, I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm wrong.
There we go.
It's a nut Pokemon. Okay, so whatever. It's kind of close. It's kind of close. So yeah, we got Rowlet, which definitely got. What I'm hearing is that it's kind of split between Rowlet and Litten, but I've seen more Rowlet fans than I've seen Litten fans, and that's just on Twitter. I've seen that, so it might be Litten fans might be on forums somewhere.
Definitely in my circle of friends, it's all been Rowlet.
Speaking of Litten, let's get Litten here. Okay.
That was a bad joke.
I mean, I've been making jokes with puns with my friends a lot more recently, all because of freaking Choco Conroy. But on to Litten. Probably, like, I will say, I'm kind of intrigued that they went with a cat this time. Of all animals, they could have went with something more native to Hawaii. They went with a cat. But I have a feeling, because also since Litten here is also really black. I think, and this is just my opinion, it might. I know black cats are associated with bad luck in circles, and I think it's the same in Hawaii as well. That black cats are associated with bad luck.
Probably.
Could be wrong about that. But in terms of details, it gets a very the detail is kind of skimped on. Like Rowlet kind of got more of a kind of a badass intro. Logical but also passionate. Litten also always remains cool-headed and doesn't show its emotions on the surface. Now, this is what I found funny when I read this. I actually kind of started laughing. Litten can attack with flaming hairballs. I was laughing so hard at that one. And you can also see it in its attack animation. It has its fur standing up on the end and it's just hacking fur balls at you. I just find that hilarious. Its fur is rich in oils and immensely flammable. Litten grooms itself by licking its fur, kind of like Finnegan, but yeah. I guess less metrosexual. By licking its fur, and then uses the collected fur as fuel for a fireball. Which I kind of hope that means we're gonna get a new technique for it. When time comes, for Litten, it sheds its old fur, and it lights itself a glorious blaze. It specifically says it goes into a glorious blaze.
When it comes time for Litten to molt, it burns off all of its fur in one glorious blaze.
They were specific about that. So when we get to the anime, they better not skip on that. I want to see a glorious blaze. I want to see this in anime.
Watch specifically the Litten episode.
I want to see this glorious blaze. Like, I need to see this now because they were specific about this. Before I forgot to mention this, also, speaking of specific moves that come for Generation, I think, for the first time in forever, we get an Ember-like move for the Grass-type Pokemon, Ember Water Gun-like move, Leafage. So it's cool that finally they're gonna get some type of move that, like, it's kind of on par with Ember, so like that, so they can attack for a decent amount of damage without having to worry about Vine Whip or Razor Leaf. And Snappy is very infamous for its Vine Whip.
Yeah.
So yeah, Litten, like, in terms of design, I like Litten. I like the fact it's a cat. A lot of people are probably saying it's going for generic cat. Well, eh.
That was kind of my first thought, was it does look pretty generic to me.
Some people said they might be going for a tiger, which actually, we haven't gotten a tiger Pokemon at all, so this is kind of a perfect opportunity.
They could be going for that.
It's got the stripes. It's got the stripes, so
yeah,
it could work, but it might just be not thinking about this now, since it's in Hawaii, and there are tribes in Hawaii. That's probably face paint. I'm looking at it.
On its face,
yeah, it looks like it's kind of like now I'm looking at it, it kind of looks like a tiki mask. I just not realized that. Wow. I just not realized that. It's kind of like a tiki thing going on. Well, that would explain its yellow eyes.
Yeah.
Because that was off-putting, actually. Okay, maybe there's something a little bit more to Litten than I originally thought. Actually, looking at it now, it's like, huh? I actually like to see. I want to see this thing evolve, just see where it goes from here. It's kind of where we are with all these Pokemon. We need to see where these things go from here, because we don't know.
Litten's going to be the most interesting one because you can kind of see where Populo's going, and Rowlet's really straightforward.
Yeah, the casual penguin. Dang, I almost said penguin. The casual owl.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'm looking at it, kind of like the big house owl. I think that
it's like a barn owl design.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there are barn owls like that, aren't there?
Yeah.
Moving on to the third one, and the one that's not lacked as much. This is a trend of water types I noticed. Pope Leo. Here goes its introduction, which is kind of generic as well. Most water types can actually swim really fast too, so I don't know what's up with that. Pope Leo's swimming speed is known to exceed 25 miles per hour. It's better at moving in the water than on land. Still, when it's on land, it takes advantage of elasticity of its balloons to perform acrobatic stunts and jumps. Now, speaking of those balloons, those are snot bubbles.
Yes. Didn't they say there was like moving in better water? Yeah, you can create balloons made of water from its nose. That's straight snot.
like Popio can snort out balloons made of water that spit.
Yeah.
Get it right. Watch it spin water balloons in a playful battle strategy. Both frivolous and hardworking, Popio can easily get carried away, unleashing enough power in a battle to make it quite a spectacle. So clearly this thing is forced to be reckoned with because it's really strong. I'm also surprised you also with an owl. And actually, this is a clown. I mean, not owl, a clown seal. So it's like, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of a little off with the fact that it's a clown.
Yeah.
But at least details completely tell you something completely different about it. And also, its in-game battle, its in-game battle model has it standing up on its flippers, all proud. So it's like, this is weird. It's kind of like
a circus performer. It's a performance type Pokemon more than anything else, kind of.
Yeah, but the thing is, in Pokemon, we kind of always getting these, at least Pokemon that don't really look like performers, but when you get into like certain situations with these Pokemon, especially who catches them, usually they'll take on the role, whatever is given to them.
Yeah.
It seems kind of weird that they kind of given us a specific performance animal or performance Pokemon. So I guess maybe we're gonna see circuses now? It'd be kind of weird now, because I would expect it more in maybe a city like atmosphere, like maybe Black and White or even X and Y for that matter.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, all these Pokemon, we gotta really wait to see what they evolve into. Like this second stage is really gonna make or break a deal with these Pokemon for certain people. I mean, we see what happened with Pig. Why another firefighting Pokemon? I hope they don't do that for Litten. Speaking of things, we also got this weakness triangle. We don't know where this is gonna go now because, well, from the sounds, at least on the looks of it, the first dual type has been decided.
Oh right,
grass and flying. So, kind of got a problem here now because we don't know what's gonna happen with